Hey there, toy collector friends and Doctor Who fans alike. Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Triple TC, that's the time travelling toy collector, and this is like a bonus entry into the Parliament of the Daleks series. It wasn't released as part of the Parliament of the Daleks, but it is of course arguably the centrepiece of the Parliament of the Daleks. It is the Dalek Prime Minister as it appeared in the 11th Doctor series, the 18th Doctor, gosh, I'm there already, the 11th Doctor series, the Asylum of the Daleks, and it's quite a tall piece. There's a lot here. It was released as a special edition, and I didn't pick it up, as you are probably well aware by now. I don't collect the figurine range, but it was one of these online stores that have acquired some of the Eaglemoss stock that they were looking to get shot of, and it was a special offering for one of those online sites. So I ordered it thinking, oh, by the time I get to it, it'll probably have sold out. It hadn't, so I'm super chuffed to have actually been able to acquire it, because it is an interesting model in several ways. Before I pick it up and get it in hand and also do a bit of a comparative with our actual Parliament of the Daleks figures, just a quick reminder to like the video if you're enjoying the content, which would be fantastic, and of course also drop a subscription to the channel. It's free of charge, there's no obligation, and it just really helps me in my particular journey towards getting to my next subscriber milestone. So I'm really super pleased if you would mind considering that. Anyway, either way, thanks for being here today. So this is the Dalek Prime Minister, and we can see we've got sort of standard Dalek component parts. We've got those sort of orbs there, we've got the slats here, we've got slats all over the place really. Something that is really interesting is we've got the mutant there, which I'll zoom into in a moment when I pick it up, and we've got a plastic what would you call that, a plastic column here. And one of the things that irked me slightly, not about this, I really like this, but the inclusion of this plastic column, is that if they can do it for this piece, which is really big, why on earth couldn't they do it for the 12th Doctor's TARDIS console? I'm just going to leave it there. Not that that's still something that annoys me, but believe you me, that is still something that annoys me. I think they really missed a trick on that. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on the 11th Doctor's TARDIS console. If you haven't seen that video, then do check out my TARDIS consoles video, where I go through all the ones that were released by Eaglemoss and Hero Collector, because the vast majority of them are really very good. So I do urge you to go and check those out if you haven't already. So on with the motley. It looks quite hefty. Looks a bit like an award. It's a lighter bronze colour. I don't really know what I'd call it. There is a bronze hue to it. It's somewhere between bronze and copper perhaps, but it's it's the first time I've had it out of its little pouch thing. But so you can see already that there are some, and maybe this is a reason it's appearing with online retailers, there is some scuffing there, which is a bit disappointing, but you know, I can live with it. But yeah, so it's a lovely design. Obviously in the show it connected to the ceiling, so it's hence it being quite tall. There's I don't get a sense that there's any die cast in here. The base feels a bit weighty, but it doesn't feel sufficiently weighty that I think there's die cast. I think it's mostly a couple of different types of plastic, which is, you know, it is what it is. But I really love the shine and the hue that the Prime Minister of the Daleks has. So then we follow it down these slats. We then and it sort of screams. It does scream sort of 60s mad scientist's laboratory. You know, and you either know what I mean or you don't. If you don't, I can't really help you apart from say go and look at some old 50s and 60s black and white movies where there's a mad scientist. There's usually something in a laboratory that looks a bit like this. Something connects to an orb and all sorts of electrical static is seen emanating off it. So that feeds down into this plastic chamber here, where we have a Dalek mutant. So I'm going to now try and zoom in on the mutant. There we go. So the mutant, again, and this is one of the Eaglemoss areas that I'm, you know, stops me buying their figures overall, their figurines overall, is the quality of organic detailing tends to be not so great. And this is a coloured mutant, for goodness sake. You can get away with murder, but even here, it still looks a little bit, you know. I mean, maybe I'm being uber picky, but I'll get a bit closer. But I just think, you know, in fact, if I was being mean, I'd say it looked like something else. But especially if it's the other way up. But I'm not going to say that. There's a semblance of a face, but I think we could have pulled the eye out. I don't mean literally, but with some sort of yellowish paint applications. I think it just isn't quite as good as it could be. I'll leave it zoomed in. I'll just do a full circulation around. It's just sort of sitting on a mound. If this was something from Aliens, it looks like it's giving birth. And who knows, maybe it is. Let's go the other way. But again, it's a nice touch, it's a nice detail. And to be honest, and I think this is where Eaglemoss go adrift slightly, because it is quite small in the scheme of things. I'll just come back out again now. It is quite small in the overall scheme of things, so it doesn't, in inverted commas, it doesn't matter that much from a visual representation point of view, because it's evocative of what should be there. I think if you scrutinise it too closely, you start to see what's actually there. And you know, if I was spending a ton of money on this, I'd have a complaint to make. But as it wasn't that expensive in the scheme of things, you know, and it's mass produced and allegedly hand painted, you know, much as I hate to use the expression, but it is what it is, and I can deal with it. It's adequately representative for my money. We have the base here, which of course is the Dalek Prime Minister, sign with the Daleks. There's the official stamp and code and what have you. Yeah, and so the base is again stepped, and it's that lovely colour repeating itself. And I really do like it. Again, as I say, it has a hint of, which I suppose is a bit naughty of me saying it really, but it has a hint of sort of a Saturday afternoon league football trophy. Which sounds a little bit derogatory, and it's not meant to, but yeah, I'm going to move it slightly to the side, because from a comparative point of view, because it is actually quite tall for what it is. So I'm bringing in from the Parliament of the Daleks the Dalek New Paradigm Drone character, so you can see from a size comparison point of view where that comes to. So he comes to pretty much up to here, so everything to there is sort of standard Dalek figure size, although this is slightly larger than normal Dalek, so it's slightly larger than normal Dalek figure size, figurine size, sorry, not to be confused with the character options toys. And then you get all of this on top, so it is actually, you know, pretty good. It's a pretty good size centrepiece, and this is why I was saying in some of my earlier Parliament of the Daleks videos, I can see myself pulling these out to do some photography stuff, because with this, I think it could look really good. And I've never actually had them all out of their packaging for that purpose. So I think I particularly like this. You can see the sort of the slats. You can see how some of the sort of standard Dalek design is replicated in the Prime Minister. I think it's a really nice touch. I think it's a really nice touch from the BBC's design point of view, and a nice touch that they've been able to capture it so well from an Eaglemoss point of view. Again, it's another reason to lament their passing, but there's light at the end of the tunnel with a new license being issued and new stuff on its way. I think Master Replicas have announced that they've got the license, or they're working with a company that's got the license, and they'll be distributing it, and they're starting it with a series of TARDISes, exteriors rather than the consoles. And I must admit, I hummed and hawed. I don't know whether I'm going to commit to those. There is one of them that is a Collectors Club exclusive, which I think is the Fourth Doctor. I think it's the Fourth Doctor, looking like it's from Shada. I think, but I could be wrong with that. I could be wrong. But there's a First Doctor and a 15th Doctor, 13th, 14th and 15th Doctor's TARDIS exterior, I suppose. So they're launching it with 3 and 1 exclusive to club members. I'm still humming and hawing. I'm thinking about it. Let me know in the comments if you think I should investigate it. I know Eaglemoss did toy with this and launched the 11th Doctor's TARDIS, which I never got. And of course, I don't know if they'll be re-releasing the 11th Doctor's TARDIS, because it does sound like there'll be no revisiting of previous moulds. So we'll have to wait and see. Talking of repackaging and re-releasing, just for the sake of completeness, I'll pop that back there. This is the box that it comes in. You can see it's quite tall. It's a taller version of the standard release packaging, and this was a special edition 18. Interesting, it doesn't mention it normally mentions on the box the episode it's from, but it doesn't this time. Don't know why. BBC legal jargon at the bottom, and it comes with well, there's the other half of it for those who are completists like me. But it just sits in there, boom. So if you did want to display it in there, you absolutely could. But I do think it's worth exploring the idea of having these out in some sort of static display, because I think they could look quite awesome. I think there is an element of anomalous presentation, because I don't think all of the Daleks that came in the Parliament of the Daleks 2 box sets, or 20 of them, would appear in the Parliament. But you know what? Who cares? It's my imagination, and by extension yours. So yeah, what do you think? What do you think of the Prime Minister of the Daleks? Do you think it's a nice figure? Do you think it's a good representation? I kind of do, but I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. What could they have done better, differently? What are your hopes for the forthcoming Doctor Who figurine range? What is there anything particular that you'd like to see added to what we've already had? Anyone following my videos knows I'm particularly here for the new consoles, so that's what I'm hanging out for more than anything else, I think. Well, thank you for hanging around. I really appreciate you spending the last 13 or so minutes with me, and I really hope you have a look around the channel, see something else that you fancy. As I mentioned earlier, do drop a subscription. It's absolutely free, obligation, no obligation, blah, blah, blah. And do please like the video. That's absolutely wonderful if you could do that. You've been fantastic. I've been the Triple TC, that's the Time Travelling Toy Collector, and this has been the Dalek Prime Minister, courtesy of Eaglemoss, the dearly departed Eaglemoss, as part of their Doctor Who figurines collection. And it just remains for me to say that a thing of beauty really can be a toy forever. Take care. Bye-bye for now.